If demand in tourism can be defined as a meeting the needs and desire of tourists to visit a destination, then what is meant by the supply in tourism and travel? Let's check this out.
Hi guys, how is it going? I hope that you are always healthy wherever you are. So today, I'm with my two partners will tell you more about tourism supply. Hope you enjoy this video. Of course, this supply must refer to anything that could satisfy the needs and wants travelers. It can also be described as the provision of goods and services required to meet tourism demand. In this case, tourism supply can be such as natural resources, infrastructure, superstructure, transportation, and hospitality resources. It is composite product involving transport, accommodation, catering, natural resources, entertainment, and other facilities and services such as shops, banks, travel agents, and tour operators. Alright, after you know the definition about tourism supply, now I'm gonna tell you about the classification. According to Goldner and McIntosh in 2000, tourism supply can be classified into four basic components. It is first, natural resources and environment, 2, the built environment, 3, transportation, and last, hospitality and cultural resources.
Last but not least, what are the characteristics of the tourism supply? Neil, in 2011, said the supply of transportation is unique in several distinct ways.
Another characteristic of transportation supply is that although demand is instantaneous, supply is not. There is a long time between planning for a piece of equipment and placing the order for it, between placing the order and receiving it, and between putting it into service and scrapping it. Thus, while demand can shift very quickly, it takes a great deal of time to adjust supply. A company must live with its mistakes for a very long time. Because of the high level of fixed costs, the incremental costs of operation are small. Incremental cost is the cost of adding one more unit, the running cost of adding another passenger car to a train, another bus to a road, or even plane between 2 points is small compared to the cost of the actual piece of equipment. If a plane is scheduled to fly anyway, the cost of an additional passenger is incredible, small with the mere charge of an extra meal and some services. This means that above a certain point, it makes economic sense to reduce of price charge in order to get some revenue coming in. This is the rationale behind discount fares. Airlines can predict, based on past records, how many seats on a particular flight will sell within a week before the flight. People who book within a week before a flight are usually business people. Assume, for example, that on a particular flight, 80% of the seats will be booked at the regular fare in the last week before the flight. This means that the airline car sells up to 2% of the seats at a discount for people who will book and pay more than 7 days before the flight departs.
Hello everyone, my name is M.Hasby Assidiq. Now I'm going to talk about problem in relation to the distribution of tourism services. A number of factors make the distribution of tourism services is especially problematic. Vendor 2005 identify and describe the main one are listed below. The first one is intangible product. When a tourism product is purchased, the consumer does not receive an intangible product. Rather, it is a service that is offered for consumption. It is impossible to see, feel, or taste tourism product prior to their purchase. As a result, tourism marketers are often portrayed as being challenged with selling dream. While this applies to some tourism products more than others, it leads to difficulties as it merely information about tourism services that can be distributed in advance of participation in the service delivery. The third is no stock holding or display by middlemen. Travel agents and other middlemen do not purchase stock. Only information is provided at the point of purchase. The risk remains with the producer rather than the distributor. The only display that is possible is that of brochure or other information relating to the product. There are, therefore, strong arguments for the careful management of the tourism distribution function. Now we are going to talk about the next topic. The next topic is about the tourism supply chain. The role of tourism as an amalgam of different interests, activities, stakeholders, and business have been discussed. This section examines how these different interests are functional, linked together to form distinct supply chain. The supply chain concept originated in economics and has been used to explain how different businesses enter into contractual relationships to supply services, products, and goods, and how these goods are assembled into products at different points in the supply chain. Tourism is well suited to the concept the supply chain because the product, service, or experience that is consumed is assembled and comprises a wide range of suppliers. After that, we are going to talk about part of supply chain. There is accommodation. Accommodation performs a vital role in many countries' tourism sector. In addition to providing the basic infrastructure to accommodate visitors as tourists and business travelers, it is focused for meetings, conferences, and entertainment. For many resort areas, accommodation comprises the key element in attracting the visitor for a holiday for a week or longer. Accommodation is also the focal point of short break holiday and is often packaged as part of an experience of places. Accommodation range in type from the upmarket, luxury 5-star establishment with hundreds of bed spaces that charge a premium price to their guests through to the small beds and breakfast operator who may have only 6 bed spaces and open solely during the tourist season.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Refael A.P. Today, I am going to talk about the transport, tourism organization and the agency and the supply of the tourism. And then the last one is tourist service and facility. The first one is transport. Transport is the most critical element in the promotion of the growth of the domestic and international tourism at the simple level. Transport links the tourist from the origin area with the destination area. It enables the tourist, the holidaymaker, business traveler, and another category traveler to consume the product and the experience they have purchased, because it links the supply chains together. Let's see the role transport of the tourism travel. Tourism leave home area to the departure airport and then to the destination airport, and then from the destination airport they move to the hotel, and the hotel they can to scanning the train journey, and then local tour by coach or car hire, local cruise or cycle hire. In addition, transport may be an attraction in with on the right. Tourists who tour by road may need public transport or private transport to experience a variety destination. Increasingly, the transport sector is entering into the strategic alliance, where the different operators will seek to offer a seamless transport. In addition, transport may be an attraction in its own right. Tourists who tour by road may use public transport or private transport to experience a variety of destinations. Increasingly, the transport sector is entering into strategic alliance, where the different operators will seek to offer seamless transport experience for the travelers, recognizing the selling opportunity. For example, if tour operation can sell not only a holiday but also airport transfer, car hire, and tourists from approved partner with whom they have entered into the strategic alliance, then their profitability is increased. This can be achieved through the commission from the selling partner product, and the evidence is much of the web-based and marketing by low-cost airlines, as well as through the airlines cooperating rather than competing. Airlines have examined its own motivation for entering into the alliance. followed by the different options available for the alliance, example the joint development or the merge acquisition. This then leads to a review of possible collaboration partners. Then the alliance is reviewed by against a range of operational issues associated with the alliance structure. This illustration the increase the integration within the tourism sector with the different business interests. Linked in together in the supply chains, a feature that will be discussed later in the chapter. The tourism industry and its growth complexity has been growth of organization and agency which have developed by manage the supply of the tourism. Let's move to the next point. The next point is tourism organization and agency and the supply of the tourism. Within the tourism industry, a number of institutional elements have to sought to manage the growing complexity of the tourism supply in relation to service and business operation. At one level, the public sector have sought to plan and manage supply issues within the countries and the destination to a stable and orderly and logical direction for the tourism sector. This is often described as a strategic direction, express a tourism strategy, with the different business interests working towards the wider development of tourism sector. In the UK, there are the number of the national tourism boards, supplemented by the regional or based area tourist boards, and the work of the local council in the public sector. These border not only to promote the region for which they are responsible, but attempt to foster the continued economic development of the tourism as well, as the encouraging member of the tourism sector to work together to enhance the quality provision. And then this has led to a growing number of partnerships between the tourism industry partners. In this point, the meaning is the stakeholder. The local industry and the destination area, for example, in the Western Australia, the growth in a wine-based tourism has led to the formation of the public and the private sector partnership, whereby tourism industry associations have been created. Similarly, in Scotland, First National Parks, similar bodies have emerged to promote the specific destination or individual product. This partnership not only market the local product but also through the collaboration and partnership working to seek to raise the profile and the number of the visitors to the area by building on a synergy between the business to the increased visitor spending. This lobby group received a giant from the public sector and raised the additional finance from the membership subscription. Trade associations also operate at a national level, such as the specialist industry sector groups, and then the Association of the Scottish Visitor Attraction based district in Scotland, and then there are also much higher profile industrial lobby groups such as the Association of the British Travel Agent (ABTA), and then which is represent the travel agent and tour operation and is a corporate trade association. And we are going to move to the last point of this presentation. The last point is tourist service and facility. Whilst the public sector can facilitate tourism, it also has direct role in the developing the tourism infrastructure. In destination, this usually vested in the local authority, who are responsible for managing or overseeing the appropriate provision of weather, sewage, roading, and facility that will be used by residents and tourists alike. At the national level, government become involved in the strategic decision making for infrastructure provision for tourism. For example, The development of Terminal 5 at Heathrow Airport in the UK has meant the expansion of the country-leading tourist gateway and infrastructure to support its future growth and development. In this instance, the states approving the development that a private sector company, British Airport Authority, will implement the long-term public interest. In other case, the states directly invest the infrastructure provision such as the development of the Channel Tunnel High Speed Rail Link project to encourage private sector investment to pump prime development. In some countries, the states also have directly involvement in the provision of the tourism service and facility, of course. An example being the state's owned Tourism Hotel Corporation in New Zealand up until 1990 in Albania. The states controlled as aspect tourism supply, the airline, and then hotel provision, tour guides, and the transport in the destination. So this is much less common in countries in a new millennium. The private sector is also responsible for the tourism service and facility, of course, and the domination the restaurant sector as well as provision and of service use by tourists and non-tourists alike, such as retailing in Europe. Much as activity in the restaurant sector is dominated by small business, many being family-run and employing fewer than 10 people. In contrast, retailing is often dominated by chain and retailing multiple in a major tourist citizen. In China, retail growth of the 14% occurred in 2004. Much of the which is attributed to leisure shopping. In 2003, China had 236 shopping malls, and by the private sector is also responsible for tourist service and facility, of course, and dominates the restaurant sector as well as provision service used by tourists and non-tourists alike, such as retailing in Europe. Much of the activity in the restaurant sector is dominated by small business, many being family-run and employing fewer than 10 people. In contrast, retailing is often dominated by chains and retail multiple in major tourist cities. In China, retail growth 14% occurred in 2004, much of which is attributed to leisure shopping, and in 2003, China had 236 shopping malls, and by 2004 is increased to 400 shopping malls. Illustrating the scale of the growth and demand, Shanghai, which is preparing for the 2010 Expo, expected to attract 70 million visitors, is developing a multilingual digital map to link shopping and tourism together. The illustrated the synergy and the axis between each activity. The infrastructure development for the Expo is expected to cost $3 billion, but expect to deliver $6 billion in revenue. There is similar investment in retail infrastructure. Hong Kong International Airport new terminal is an example for this, demonstrating the scale of the leisure spending by the 85,000 travelers who use the facility each day, as well as the 36,000 meters or greater welcoming visitor and returning traveler. On the average, departing international visitors spend 3 hours in the terminal dwell time, creating many opportunities for retailing. This illustrates to the potential of link tourism with business activity and the implication for managing the supply of tourism. That's it for today. Thank you to all of you who listening our presentation carefully. Me and my friend Hasbi and Aulya wanted to say thank you to all of you, the audience. I hope our presentation can increase your knowledge about tourism supply. At last but not least, thank you very much. Wabillahi wa taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.